What's up, Skins Nation? Welcome once again to that show of shows, Pigskin, Facts, History, and News. I am your host of hosts, Fred Watson Jr. Welcome, first-time viewers. Those of you that have been faithfully watching, much love to you. Hail Nation, big up. If this is your first time watching, hit down below that subscribe button. If you have any comments, if you have any views, and if you have any thoughts or any ideas on how I can better my show, or if you just have something in general that you want to say about the Redskins or Skins Nation or the season or how or players or what may have you, feel free. Scroll down at the bottom of the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Well, we have just started week 8 in the NFL. And last night, unfortunately, the Redskins lose to the Vikings 19-9. Their record falls to 1-7 on the year. And there are 8 games left in the regular season. So, if you have any thoughts, comments on the game last night, Vikings, Redskins, feel free. Put it in the comment section. I would love to read it. I'd love to hear from you. And I definitely will respond. All right. Well, last night was known as the revenge game. It was a homecoming game of sorts for Redskins quarterback Case Keenum, Redskins running back Adrian Peterson, and it was a chance for Kirk Cousins to exact revenge on his old team, the Washington Redskins, who he once quarterbacked for 5 years. Well, last night, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings got the better end of the stick. So I guess you can say he got the revenge. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and Stephon Diggs last night were absolutely sensational. And the Vikings defense held strong and did just enough to turn back the Redskins. I think their defense, they recorded 4 or 5 sacks last night on both quarterbacks combined, Case Keenum and rookie quarterback Dwayne Haskins Jr. Kirk Cousins, he had a passer rating of 112.3. He carved up the Redskins secondary. He passed 23 attempts, 23 completed passes out of 26 attempts for 285 yards. And Stephon Diggs caught 7 passes for 123 yards. Dalvin Cook, running back Dalvin Cook, this man was running like a madman, running like a man possessed. I'm telling you, he was an absolute monster in a football uniform with the ball. He had 171 total yards from scrimmage. He had 23 carries for 98 yards. He had 5 more catches for 73 yards. And this man was hard to stop. The Redskins couldn't contain him. And when the Vikings needed to get a first down, they got it from him. I mean, the man was basically unstoppable. And that was my first time seeing him. I'm not a Vikings fan, but I will say that I was totally impressed by watching this guy. This guy was fast. He was fast, and he was even hard to bring down after the first tackle. So he was impressive. He scored the game's only touchdown right before halftime from the goal line, from the 1-yard line. The Vikings scored on 5 of the first 7 possessions. Matter of fact, they didn't have any punts in the game. They didn't punt all game. So they pretty much controlled the game on the ground and through the air when they needed. But the problem with the Vikings was they stalled in the red zone. The Redskins defense stiffened when it came to the red zone, and they had to settle for 4 other field goals behind the touchdown that they had. So basically, this was a game of field goals, except for that 1 touchdown. The offense, the Redskins offense, ran the ball very well. Adrian Peterson, he ran the ball very well. I believe Adrian Peterson had about, I want to say about 83 yards rushing, um, something like that. I didn't look it up, but he had quite a few carries. Probably had about 18 or 19 carries, about 83 yards somewhere, something like that. He even caught a big pass that went for a big gain. But the running game for the Redskins overall went pretty well. They didn't run too bad against the Vikings. They ran pretty well. Adrian Peterson, his vision, he saw holes. He was jump cutting. I mean, he was doing it all. He looked very, very impressive. And they were able to move the ball early on. Case Keenum, I felt before he left the game, before he got hurt, um, he once played for the Minnesota Vikings, so it was almost like he's seen the concepts that the Vikings do on defense. He see the way that the schemes that they line up, and he seemed very comfortable in it because he was recognizing things. Yes, he got sacked and he lost a crucial fumble early in the game, and that led to a Vikings score, and it snuffed out any momentum that we had because the Vikings had fumbled. Stephon Diggs on a crossing route caught a pass, and he was off to the races, and Deron Payne happened to come behind him and pop the ball loose. The Redskins recovered. Well, not many plays later, Case Keenum, as the Redskins were driving, they were moving the ball, he was sacked, and he fumbled, and Minnesota recovered. And later on, they moved down the field. They kicked the field goal to start the scoring off in the game. Case Keenum was injured. He didn't return after halftime. Quarterback Dwayne Haskins came in the game. They were unable to keep sustainable drives. The Redskins lost because they were unable to keep sustainable drives. Like I was saying, that drive that right after the Vikings fumbled, the Redskins had the ball. They were driving. They had got up to midfield, I believe it was, a little past midfield. Case Keenum went back to pass, got sacked, fumbled, coughed the ball up, and gave it back to the Vikings. And that shut down any momentum, that early momentum that we supposedly had. The Redskins also lost because a few times, we reached the red zone and we could not convert. We had the ball maybe at the 2 or 3 yard line and we could not run it in. The Vikings snuffed it out. I believe they got a sack. And we got a penalty. It backed us up a time or two in the red zone. And we just couldn't capitalize. And that's been an ongoing problem all year for the Redskins offense. Is once they get into the red zone, we do not score touchdowns. And you will not win games in the NFL if you cannot score from the red zone. Very important. The Redskins also lost because, just like last week against San Francisco, we were blanked. We had plenty of opportunities, but we did not take advantage of it. We did not score when we had a chance. Did not score any touchdowns. Field goals are okay, but you will not win games strictly kicking field goals. Quarterback Dwayne Haskins, he came in the game, replaced Case Keenum, who had a concussion. Don't know if it was mild. Don't know the results of that just yet. We will find out. But I say right now was a opportunity for rookie quarterback Dwayne Haskins to come in and show and prove. Yes, he was thrown in the fire. Probably wasn't expecting that last night. He completed just 3 of 5 passes for 33 yards. He did have an interception, so he's been turnover prone. The first game, of course, you remember when the Giants, he came in, he threw 3 interceptions, and I don't fault him for that. He wasn't prepared. They didn't ready him. They didn't prepare him. Right now, I think that they're trying to implement him on the first team offense to get reps. But as it looks right now, if Keenum is hurt and he can't go, next Sunday, not this Sunday coming, but the following Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, they need to ready him. They need to start prepping him as a quarterback. They need to prepare him because all this talk about Dwayne Haskins not being ready is a crock of bullcrap. Even quarterback Dwayne Haskins himself, I'm not going to say verbatim, but has pretty much spoken in the volumes that I'm very much capable of playing football in the NFL. And they need to give him a chance. So whether the front office likes it or not, they have no choice now but to put him in. Colt McCoy wasn't even dressed last night. So start the rookie. Start the rookie. Matter of fact, let him play the remaining 8 games. Let him play the remaining 8 games. Don't know. At the end of the year or maybe sometime soon or however owner Dan Snyder's going to do it, he's going to hire a brand new head coach. And he better get all the wisdom he can in his choosing, and it better be somebody that knows how to ready a quarterback, somebody that knows how to groom a quarterback. It better be somebody that knows what the hell they're doing because they are going to need it in the off season. There are going to be a lot of changes made, and there are going to be decisions that are going to have to be made. I want to see the rookie play. I want to see him play for the rest of the year. At the end of the year, evaluate him, find out what works, what doesn't, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, and find somebody that can come in and coach this team and complement him, come side by side along with him and complement him and teach him and strengthen him in his weaknesses, enhance those things that he's strong in as a quarterback. He has the tools, he has the skills, and I know that he's going to be a great one, but we need the right person to pair up with him and take him under his wings and let him fly like an eagle. Fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Okay. So he came into the game. He completed 3 of 5 passes for 33 yards. Now, a turning point in the game. The Minnesota Vikings had the ball. I believe it was at the 30, 31-yard line. It was 4th down and 1. And their coach, Mike Zimmer, had them go for it. So what the Vikings did, they did a quarterback sneak. They tried to sneak Kirk Cousins over for 1 yard. Redskins defensive tackle Deron Payne got underneath the center and kind of stifled the progression of the Minnesota line moving forward. And it was brought at a standstill. So the Redskins therefore stuffed that 4th down and 1 play, turned the ball over on down. So basically that was a turnover. The Redskins had a golden opportunity. They had an opportunity to score. I believe it was the 30, 31-yard line, something like that. So Dwayne Haskins comes in the game. And two plays into his 3rd drive, of which I'm speaking about after the Vikings turned the ball over. He throws the ball to his old college teammate, Terry McLaurin. He overthrows him. Terry McLaurin jumps up in the air, outstretches, tries to get the ball. The ball tips off of his hand. Vikings defensive back Anthony Harris gets an interception, and it snuffs out the drive, and it snuffs out the Redskins' momentum or any chance of tying the game. The score was 16-9 at that point. So the Redskins, who did play a very good defense throughout the game, except on 3rd downs, they could not get Cousins and the Vikings off the field. Here they come. He was performing like a surgeon, and he was taking the scalpel to the Redskins. He was surgically operating on behind that line, driving the Vikings down the field. However, the Redskins stopped the Vikings from scoring a touchdown in the red zone. They kicked another field goal, went up by 10. The game could have been 16-16 had the Redskins not turned it over and scored a touchdown, and that would have changed the complexion of the entire game, and they had momentum on their side. Terry McLaurin had a good first part of the game. He caught 4 passes for 39 yards. Second half, the Vikings defense made some adjustments and they shut him down. But he's still going to be a big time player for the Redskins. Great wide receiver. Wow. Talking like Elmer Fudd. A little Western waxation. I think he's having a great rookie season, and he's going to continue, and he's going to be a dominant force as a wide receiver in this league. And a lot of people call him Scary Terry, but he prefers to be called Touchdown Terry. And he is. So, anyway, Dwayne Haskins, he took his lumps. He got sacked a couple times. But that's needed. That's needed because that's a part of his education as a quarterback in the NFL. He's going to go through those growing pains, and he needs that to happen. That's going to make him become more focused and go back on work on the things that he needs to work on. But I think also that offensive line did a horrible job of protecting him when he came in the game. That wasn't all his fault. Now, the pass, that was an errant pass that was on him. But as far as the pass protection when he came in the game, it was lousy. And they did a better job protecting Keenum, even though Keenum got sacked twice. The Redskins did cut down on the penalties. I see that as a major improvement. Their defense. We faced 2 powerful, potent offenses the last 2 weeks. The Minnesota Vikings, San Francisco 49ers. We held both teams to 26 points in 2 weeks. Yes, we lost those games, but that is something to pay attention to because our defensive front is very strong. It's the strongest part of our team right now. We need some more building blocks in the back end of that defense, in the middle of the defense. But that defensive line is very powerful, and I see major signs of improvement in the defense. And I believe in the offseason, if we can add the right pieces and cut away what we don't need, circumcise, cut off that dead skin, I think we'll have a championship caliber defense in the future. We just need to keep building those blocks. Our defense. We had 2 sacks on Kirk Cousins. We did apply pressure, but it wasn't constant. And the thing with Cousins is you got to put constant pressure on him in order to make him fidgety and nervous in the pocket and to make mistakes. And he was too comfortable in the pocket. But I thought overall that our defense did a fairly decent job, except for stopping the run and getting the Vikings off the field on third downs. Those are things that we're going to have to work at. We're going to have to get better at stopping the run, and we're going to have to force teams into 3 and outs and get them off the field so our defense doesn't get skull drugged at the end of the game. But I do notice that there's an improvement in our defense, and we're playing better football than just a half of football. We're playing better a little longer. So those are building blocks. But quarterback Dwayne Haskins, they need to go back to the drawing board. They need to prepare him, prep him, get him in the film room, take lots and lots and lots of first-team reps, practice with the first team, and get familiar with the playbook. And he will. He will. When they start playing him, he's going to go through his growing pains, but he's going to grow up at some point. And he's going to become a great quarterback. Skins, fans, Skins Nation, we have nowhere to go but up. We've already hit rock bottom. Keep the faith. Hang in there. This year's gone, but the future is still bright. All right, that's all I have for this week. I will see y'all Monday. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. And I will see you Monday on that show of shows, Pigskin Facts, History and News. I am your host, Fred Watson Jr. I say peace. Signing off.